Welcome back to the Moms Like Me podcast, powered by Support Now. When I tell you you're in for a treat today, I mean it. We call this podcast Moms Like Me, though I could argue there are not many moms like Kristen. And when you hear this story, you will know why. Also, disclaimer, this is the first time I'm meeting Kristen as well. I've gotten to know her through Support Now, through her community rallying support. And when I heard this story, my first reaction is, I have got to get her on the podcast to hear in her words what the heck she's thinking and why she's doing this. So, Kristen, first of all, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. This is my first podcast I've ever done. So,
well, you look like a natural. This will be fun. So I want to give some context to this before I pass it off to you, because there's just so much here. High level, my understanding is that you will be giving your liver to a friend that you knew in high school that you hadn't spoken to in over 20 years. I'm going to leave it at that. But will you please provide more context as to how this all transpired? It's just such an amazing testament to just generosity and connection. And I need to hear it from you. How did all of this get decided? How did all this go down?
So Steven and I were friends in high school. He graduated 01, I was 02. And we went to the same church. So we would see each other on Wednesdays and Sundays. We went on ski trips and youth outings and things like that together. And it's funny because I went back and I was looking at my high school photo book, and I was like, we were friends. We didn't have any pictures together. And I even asked one of my best friends, who she's the photo capsule person. She's like, I don't have any pictures of him. And she's like, where were they? Well, we were taking all these pictures. So it's just funny because I'm like, no, we were friends. We were friends. But yeah, so then he graduated and went to Auburn, where he played baseball. And then I graduated a year later and went to Georgia College for 2 years, and then finished at Columbus State. And then I went to Georgia for grad school. And then that's right around the time that Facebook kind of started taking off. And I don't remember when we reconnected on Facebook. I think it might have just been something, I don't know. And I was like, oh yeah, Steven, I wonder how he's doing. Good to see he's doing well. And so a little over a year ago, I saw that he was diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer. And it was funny. It was our youth pastor's daughter who had shared that, who also I cheered with. And so she went to our same high school too. And so she was kind of sharing. And then when you hear stage 4, that's so scary. That's so scary. And so I reached out whenever he started going through chemo and just let him know, hey, you've got a lot of people praying for you. I hope this goes well. And he was like, yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate the prayers. Ready to beat this cancer, right? So then in November sometime, keep in mind, that was the first time I'd spoken to him since high school, when I was hey, praying for you, bud. And then in November sometime, it was early November, I had been seeing on his wife had set up this beautiful page on Facebook called Steven's Prayer Warriors. And she was updating everyone through all of the chemos, all of the surgeries, just their entire journey throughout this. They're very, very strong Christians. And so they were leaning heavily into their faith. And that's why it's called Steven's Prayer Warriors. They were just we need all the prayers we can get right now. And so I saw on Steven's Prayer Warriors that they were going to be looking for a living liver donor. And first thing I did was I Googled, what do you have to have in common? And the first thing that I saw was we had to have the same blood type or a compatible blood type. And so that's when I messaged him, which I don't know if you've seen that I'd screenshot that and put it up with our thing. And I was like, hey, what's your blood type? And he got back to me immediately. He's like, hey, I'm B positive. And I was like, wait, that's what I am too. And I know there's not that many different kinds of blood type, but as soon as I heard that we had the same blood type, I was like, oh, well, that's me. I'm gonna be doing this. And so a little bit of backstory, I felt called to stop drinking alcohol about 3.5 years ago. I realized it was not like benefiting my health. And I was, I just turned 40 the end of last year. So here I was, like in my late 30s, and I'm like, I'm spending money and time on my skincare and anti-aging. And I was like, but then like drinking is bad for you. So like, why am I trying to like do this? And so I started doing dry January that year, and then I just never drank again. So I haven't drank in like almost 3.5 years, which it'll be like almost exactly 3.5 years when we have the surgery is from like when I last drank. So that's what I said to Steven. I was like, hey, wait, I'm the same blood type too. Like, and I've been like really good to my liver since I stopped drinking. Like, do you want a lobe? Because there's 2 lobes in your liver. And I was like, yeah, if you want a lobe. And he was like, yeah, I'll take it. And we're joking back and forth. And a couple weeks later is when we had the Zoom call with I think it was the transplant coordinator. And Steven and his family are so loved. Like they're just amazing people. They're very, very intertwined in their community. And so when I got on that Zoom call, there were like over like 30 people that were on there to learn about could they possibly donate their liver to Steven. And I'm watching it, and yes, this is my friend, but I see Beth, his wife, the mother of their 3 children, and she looked scared. Like this is like the last thing that they need. And my heart just like, oh gosh, like it just went out to her. I was like, here she is, like she's being a wife and a mother and having like worrying, like, is her husband gonna make it? Like when they got that diagnosis, they gave him 12 to 18 months, which I can't even imagine being faced with. And so like, I don't know, like I already knew at that point that I wanted to do it, and I felt in my heart it was gonna be me. And so just from there, it's been a journey. It's been a lot of testing. Like I said, that was back in November, and I just got the official clearance that I was the donor 2 weeks ago today.
Kristen, I mean, there's so many things I want to go back on. One is your first thought when you saw the post in Facebook was, I wonder what his blood type is. I mean, I can certainly appreciate. I was very close with a lot of people in high school. My high school friends still mean so much to me, even with the distance that I have with them. So I understand that sometimes
it's a bond for sure.
It's a different relationship with your friends that you grow up with, where you go to their homes and you know their siblings, you know their parents. It's always interesting to me that those relationships, they always have the opportunity to rebound to me faster, because you're kind of like ingrained in their life in a way that's very different than friends you make in college or post-college, because you don't necessarily know where they came from. So I appreciate that. And I'm still baffled that your first thought was, I wonder if my blood type matches his. I mean, it's just so amazing. And one thing you haven't mentioned, which or maybe we've talked on, is you are also a mom of 3 young children. So this decision to even explore this isn't just a decision for you. It's a decision for your whole family. So how did you talk about this with your husband? Like, talk me through, like, how did you bring this up with him? Because this is something that's going to take you to, going to take a lot of time and energy and resources for your whole family unit and for all the people that love you as well.
So, I'm trying to think back when I was like, oh, hey, my blood type is the same. And he was like, okay. Just thinking like, well, there's got to be so many other people that want to donate, right? And then I got on the Zoom call and we realized there were a lot of people who wanted to donate. And so my husband knows who I am. And I do have a tendency to kind of like jump straight into things. And it's funny because I was like, hey, I'm going to do this. He was like, okay. And then like, as it kept going, it kind of it narrowed down more and more that like, this was going to be me. And he's been so incredibly supportive. Explaining it to my kids was really interesting because, I explained to them like how the surgery would go and everything. And when when we connected, when Stephen and I reconnected, like over spring break, my kids got to meet two of his kids, and his son is the same age as my oldest son. And it was really helped put it into perspective for them, because I was like, that's your friend's daddy. Like they're friends now. And I'm like, that's your friend's daddy that I'm helping. And this is a need. Like he needs to have this done. And my oldest son, he's like, well, if you're going to have surgery when I'm in school, I'm just not going to go to school because I need to keep an eye on you. And so he's just like, everyone has been on board and like very, very supportive.
I mean, I think that's like you painted the picture so perfectly. And I do think that probably helps your kids understand, if this was your daddy, if this was me, we would hope that someone would have the courage and the bravery to step up. And so it's just, again, such an example for your children, like the selflessness of it. I mean, they're seeing like right in front of their eyes how each of us possess the opportunity to help one another in so many different ways. And I'm just totally blown away by how quickly a Facebook group allowed you to reconnect with a friend and then to keep, all these little decisions. It makes me think of that social media trend that's going around Instagram right now, the butterfly effect. It's like, had you not met in high school 20 years ago, had you not joined that or not seen that Facebook post, had you not seen or joined the prayer group on Facebook, like all of these little things that have led you to this moment to play this role. It's astounding.
It's funny. I joked around with Stephen as I was going through the testing, and it was kind of looking more and more like it was going to be me. And I was like, Stephen, I bet you're pretty glad you were nice to me in high school now, weren't you?
I mean, seriously.
Like, what if he had not been? I would have been like, no, you can. Am I living up? Just kidding.
But you probably wouldn't have been as compelled to follow the story in the first place. I mean, talk about how all of your decisions as a child ultimately follow you. Like, no pressure, everyone. But be kind, because you never know how being kind can help you later on, and how important it is to preserve relationships. Because again, obviously this is an extreme scenario, and at the same time, like these are the sort of things that life does sometimes, where you just are kind of met with a unique circumstance. I want to know, like, are you scared? Like, how are you feeling going into this?
Jordan, so I normally, like, you're a mom, all the blood work that you get done when you're pregnant. Mm-hmm. So they like set me in a different room when I would have like the 3-hour glucose test. They would like put me in a different room. They would bring in like pillows, because I would be so squeamish, like getting my blood taken. I would be like, okay, like really work myself up for it. And like just the peace that I've had throughout all of this has been like I can just say it's God. It's just God giving me that peace, because especially when I walked in for the very first thing I did was a bunch of blood work. And I walked into the lab, and the nurse, she goes, "You're having a lot of blood work today." And I was like, oh, really? And she's like, it's a lot. And I'll send you the picture, because it's so funny. I was messaging Stephen and Beth. We're on like a group chat, and I was like, so she just said I'm doing a lot of blood work today, and the printer, and he's like, oh gosh, how much? I was like, I don't know. The printer hasn't stopped printing the stickers that go on the vials. And it was literally going down. It was on the floor and like back and forth. And he was like, we're like, there's no way they can take that much blood from you. And I was like, I don't know. All of the stickers have my name on it, so I have no idea. The first time it was 22 vials. So wow, that's a lot for someone who normally can't even get like one without fainting. But and this was at a lab, so I didn't have like the comforts of laying down with pillows and someone holding my hand. I would just
No, you did not. So, I mean, that part sounds, not fun. And you're right. Like, I felt, to me, that's one of the worst parts of pregnancy, is having to sit there and get your blood drawn. I felt it's like around right before the 20 week, where they take several vials. And I always remember that's like one of my least favorite parts of pregnancy, is just knowing that you kind of feel a little lightheaded and queasy. I mean, And what are the other things that are on your mind as you prepare for this?
I just want to make sure that my kids are okay. So like once we set the date, which we're looking to do like maybe today or Monday or Tuesday of next week, once I have that date locked in, then I'll be able to like plan for like which parent of ours is going to watch the kid at what time, and try to line up play dates and things like that for them, just to keep them busy, because the surgery is not local. We're having to relocate to Rochester, New York for 2 to 3 weeks for the surgery and while I heal during that time.
Wow.
So just making sure my family is okay. They all support me. So just making sure that they're okay while I'm gone.
Well, I think it's just such a beautiful illustration of community, right? Like here you are supporting Stephen. Here now is an opportunity for everyone to support you. It's like that phrase, it takes a village. In the next few weeks and months, you're going to see or hear all the ways that people are allowing you to make this decision to bless this family. And as a result, everyone else gets to bless you.
It really, it's so touching, because I've been so set in this since I found out we were the same blood type. And so for me, it doesn't feel like it's that big of a deal, because it was just, you're doing this like so quickly. I knew, but just seeing how people have rallied around us, just how can I help? Like, do you need me to take the kids for a few days? One of my friends from college, I haven't seen her in years, and she's like, do you need me to take the kids for a few days, or like every day while you're gone? Like, and I'm like, I got 3 kids. I know you don't want all 3 of them over there for 3 weeks. But just the outpouring of love, it's a very beautiful thing, and I'm so fortunate that I get to experience it.
Yeah. I mean, truly, you've kind of set off this chain of support. Like it's just such a beautiful thing. He is allowing you to bless him with this blessing, and now everyone gets to bless you with theirs. And again, I think support is much like love. Like when you receive it, you want to give it back to somebody else. And again, I can just like see this in my mind, this like kind of chain of support that keeps linking and linking and linking.
Yes.
And it is just, that's what lights, part of why I love what we get to do is like, we get to see this happen in formation. Like it's so interesting. Obviously we've built a piece of technology that allows supporters to come alongside of each other. But what we're really doing is we're connecting people in real life, which is so cool, because we live in a world that's so digital and so siloed. And yet what you're about to experience is actually the most fundamental thing that we all believe in, which is that we should all be able to rally around each other in good times and in hard times. And I'll be so curious to see what that chain reaction, what that looks like in your communities, your respective communities, in the days and weeks and months to come, because it's sometimes you just need to see the example. And, oftentimes I hear from people, well, I don't want to ask for help. And, we can do this ourselves. And in this case, which I think is so honorable of you and your husband, and of course of Stephen and Beth, is that you're willing to accept help. And I'd love for you to talk about like, how hard is it to relent on that? Because I'm sure based off what I learned from you today, you're probably the type of mom that normally has it all under control, or at least wants to have it all under control. What's it been like to say, you know what, I'm going to let other people step in to help us in this season?
It's funny, I feel like before I used to not want to ask for help. I came from, my parents were very strong. Like my dad would be deployed in the Army, and my mom she's just such a strong woman. And I just remember being in first grade and something broke with like a pipe or something in our house. And my dad was deployed at the time, and she went to the library and checked out some books on pipes and plumbing and figured it out how to do it herself. So like I come from that background where it's like, no, you can do it by yourself. So adjusting to now like understanding like I might not be able to do it all by myself, and accepting that help it's been how would I describe it? it's been a nice thing to learn, if that makes sense. It's something that we should all be able to do in our times of need, is ask for help and not feel shame that comes with it. So I don't know, like I said, it's just been a nice thing to learn and see.
Well, I think as moms, we have such a tendency to control and to kind of hover around our babies, not in a way that's negative, but that's our job. Like, our job is to protect, it's to secure, it's to provide. And sometimes we forget that you don't have to be the only person that does that. And I think there's so much pressure on moms today to do it all. And and it leads to this stress that moms feel on a day-to-day basis, both physical stress, the mental load stress of it all. And it sounds like what you're experiencing is like, now that you've opened the door to allow others to help you, you realize there actually are ways that people can take things off your plate, and that it's okay to let other people take things off your plate.
Of course.
It's not coming from a place of weakness. It's actually coming from a place of strength.
Well, thank you. I haven't thought about it like that.
I mean, it really is. It's just such again, I'm just so blown away by this story. I think it exudes all the qualities of what I think is good about humans, and just stepping up and then leaning into your faith and allowing others to help you. I mean, it's just wonderful. I heard you, or overheard you, say a line that I have to hear for myself on this podcast. You mentioned earlier Stephen went to Auburn. You're a dog. I know you're a Georgia Bulldog. So tell me what it's like to give a liver, a piece of you to this Auburn Tiger.
That's right. His wife has been cracking jokes like he's going to have a little dog in him, and I'm like, heck yeah, he is.
That's one way to convert that's one way to convert a fan convert someone to a Georgia fan, is just give them a part of your liver.
Yeah. What did he say? It's like the SEC. It just means more. It's like, we just got to bond together. Like, we're more alike than we are different.
Totally. So as we kind of wrap this up a bit, Kristen, I'm curious, coming out of the surgery, have you and Stephen talked about like your relationship moving forward? Like, how has this transformed the way, your friendship for the future?
We haven't talked about like how it's going to look afterwards, but I think that like, especially Beth and I, we've really connected and bonded. And so I would love to foresee the friendship continuing.
Yeah.
The transplant team did warn me. They were like, well, what do you expect? And I was like, well, I don't expect anything. I don't know. And they said sometimes for the recipient and their family, it can be too painful of a reminder of the darkest and hardest time in their life to maintain a relationship with the donor. I'm hopeful that isn't the case, but if it is, I would always understand, like, this has had to be the hardest year of their lives.
Yeah.
So I would hate for my presence to like make them sad and reflective on those hard times. But I'm prepared for it if that comes. I don't think that it would come to that though. We've just built a really good friendship.
Yeah. Well, and it's good to know that that's a possibility going into it, so you can prepare yourself emotionally for that potential outcome, even though it's hopefully an unlikely one. Again, we are so supportive of you all, and I want to end this podcast with an opportunity for people to follow along on this story and to find ways to support you all, whether that's through prayer or through funds. Again, as Kristen mentioned, this is not happening in their local towns. They are flying to Rochester, New York. Their children are in different states. Life will still move on. And I want to make sure that everyone has the opportunity to show support and to honestly stay updated on this beautiful story. We'll link the Register family in the notes of this podcast. I encourage you to follow this registry, again, to see updates. And most importantly, we are praying for you. We're praying for Stephen. This battling stage 4 colon cancer is obviously no small feat. And while this story caught my eye, the most important thing, of course, is the health of you, the health of him. And I'm just wishing both of you, your families, health, healing, and all the support you need along the journey.
Thank you so much. Like, having you guys here has been such a blessing. Like, it was so funny when your husband Scott reached out to me and he was like, "Hey, like we already know each other. Do you remember me?" I'm like, "Of course I remember you." Like from Georgia. And so it's been a blessing to like already have that connection, but also like the platform has just been amazing. Like, it's seeing how people want to give in this time of need it just shows the good side of humanity.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And it is a little bit of a God wink. You know, it wasn't something, I don't think he pursued this. It just kind of, he saw the picture come up and he said, "Wait a second, I know this girl. I went to college with her." And again, like not the same coincidence, certainly, of you and Steven, but I think just like another another wink along the way that shows that everyone's going to be okay. And we're going to kind of weather through this season all together. And again, thank you for the opportunity to serve your wonderful community. It's already been beautiful to see. And I know there's so many more opportunities for support that I look forward to witnessing from afar and potentially, of course, supporting ourselves as well. So Kristen Johnston, amazing. What a Mother's Day you will have here. I can't imagine all the love your kiddos are going to be giving to you. Thank you for joining us today. And again, wishing you all the best.
Thank you so much, Jordan.